It was last week when I finally did it, when I finally followed my husband. He'd said a work dinner would run late. I tailed him all the way to a high-rise in River North. In front of the sleek, modern building with its long, sterile hallway visible through the glass doors, I waited anxiously for him to appear. Maybe he just has a meeting in the same building. It couldn't be. There's no way. Despite all my denials, my husband stopped right in front of apartment 405, the home of my former sister-in-law. He paused for a moment, as if entering the keypad code. Then the door swung open, and he slipped inside as if he owned the place. Seeing that, I was so confused and stunned that I just froze. To be honest, calling her my sister-in-law now feels awkward. She divorced my husband's younger brother, Reese, after he had an affair. Since it was Reese's fault, she probably felt uncomfortable staying in touch with his family. She cut off all contact with me after that. I only knew from her social media profile picture that she had moved back to California to be with her parents. But now, my husband was casually walking into the home of my divorced, single, former sister-in-law. It made absolutely no sense. Shaking myself out of my stupor, I called her. The phone rang for a long time before she finally picked up, her voice thick with sleep. Alara? What's up? Oh, Sloan, sorry to bother you. Hey, quick question. Are you back in Chicago right now? No. I'm at my parents' place in California. Why? Oh, okay. I was just near your old apartment and I thought I saw someone go inside. I figured maybe you'd come back without telling anyone. No, I'm definitely in California. Are you sure you saw someone? Yeah, the lights are on. What? Seriously? That can't be right. Contrary to my suspicions, Sloan sounded genuinely bewildered. It seemed I really had woken her up. I did a quick time zone calculation. It was the crack of dawn where she was. Is she really in California? Or is she lying? Just as doubt crept in, Sloan made an unexpected suggestion. Alara, I'm so sorry to ask, but could you possibly check it out for me? I don't have anyone else I can ask right now. There's nothing valuable to take, but the thought of someone coming and going is unsettling. You know who I'm worried it might be. Reese. In the chaos of leaving for my parents, I never thought to change the security code. Oh, it didn't look like Reese. Anyway, could you please do this for me? Sloan asked, her tone polite but urgent, and then she gave me the keypad code. The call made it seem certain. Sloan was in California, and her apartment was supposed to be empty. So why did my husband go into a vacant apartment? The condo was a wedding gift from Sloan's parents when she got married. I knew that when they divorced, Reese had walked away with nothing but the clothes on his back. If what Sloan said was true, the only other person who knew the unchanged code was Reese. By that logic, the person waiting for my husband inside that apartment should have been my brother-in-law. Full of questions, I headed toward Sloan's apartment. As I approached the front door, I could hear music seeping out from inside. My heart hammered against my ribs as I quietly punched in the 6-digit code. In the small entryway, I saw a familiar pair of brown Cole Haan shoes that were definitely my husband's, next to a pair of women's strappy sandals. Then, over the loud music, I heard another, more unpleasant sound. The moment the ragged breaths and a woman's shallow moans hit my ears, my entire body went rigid, as if bound by ice. Through a crack in the slightly ajar bedroom door, I could see the naked, tangled bodies of a man and a woman in the dim glow of a mood light. I was so shocked I could barely breathe, but the two of them were completely lost in their own world. Where did this elaborate deception by my husband even begin? The change in our perfectly ordinary married life started after my in-laws separated. They had always fought due to their clashing personalities, and after years of conflict, they decided to go their separate ways without officially filing for divorce. They sold their house. My father-in-law moved alone to a small town downstate, and my mother-in-law moved with my sister-in-law, Jocelyn, to a condo in our area. Suddenly, having two sets of in-laws to manage was bizarre enough, but it felt like the responsibility for their impulsive decision had fallen squarely on their children's shoulders. What's with the pop-in, Mom? I asked Kaylin, and he said you were working from home today. I thought we could have lunch. It's hot out. How about you throw together that chicken pot pie you make? What? How am I supposed to make a pot pie on such short notice? You should have called first. I don't have anything in the house. You can just run to the store and get what you need. And I'm not working from home. I am working. Just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm on vacation. You can go out for a bit and finish your work later. Don't people who work from home have lunch breaks? Ugh, it's too hot to argue. Just go get something. The heat makes standing in front of the stove a nightmare. From now on, I'll just come here for lunch on your days off. Working from home does offer the flexibility to work at my own pace, without anyone looking over my shoulder. But that doesn't mean I have enough free time to whip up lunch for a mother-in-law who drops by unannounced. I had to be firm. If I let it slide once, it would happen again and again. No. Mom, please go home. It's not my lunch break, and my company monitors our activity. I can't just leave like that. What? You're just going to send me away after I came all this way? Where on earth is the respect? It would be the same even if my own parents showed up. And for the record, my parents would never just show up unannounced like this. Unannounced? Are you serious right now? This is my son Kalen's house. I'm not saying you can't come, but even as his mother, there needs to be some mutual respect. And technically, this isn't just Kalen's house. We bought it with money my parents contributed, and we're paying off the mortgage together. If you want to get technical, more of it is mine. I was speechless. Living so close to her meant these kinds of incidents became frequent early on, but I've always been one to speak my mind, so I managed. For my sister-in-law, Sloane, however, things seemed different. Sloane had married Reese 2 years before me, and because my mother-in-law had been so vehemently against the marriage from the start, their relationship was always fraught with tension. Sloane was an American whom Reese had met while on a long-term assignment in the States. They had planned to settle down in America, but my mother-in-law protested so dramatically, she nearly made herself sick. She refused to have a son living halfway across the country. This was despite the fact that Sloane's family was quite wealthy and had offered to provide them with a house and cars if they stayed in the U.S. After a year of resistance, Reese was the first to wave the white flag. So Sloane, who was for all intents and purposes American, was dragged to Chicago by her in-laws' pressure. Her parents even helped them buy a condo. Yet even after all that, my mother-in-law would openly scoff, calling it a 30-year-old shoebox in some high-rise. That condo, though older, was in a prime location with a great view and was worth a considerable amount. The truth was, both my husband and his brother, despite working for major corporations, had saved very little money by the time they got married, because they were constantly bailing their parents out of debt and funding their lifestyle. I could never understand why my mother-in-law, who had never contributed a dime to her son's marriages, would treat such a gracious daughter-in-law, who had essentially brought a home with her, with such contempt. It was so frustrating that one day, I sat Sloane down. Sloane, you can't just take it. You have to stand up for yourself. Why do you let her say such cruel things to you and just sit there? Sloane just smiled faintly. Alara, I'm not just sitting here. I'm biding my time. Once I go back to the States, I probably won't have to see her ever again. Back to the States? You're going back? Startled by my question, Sloane lowered her voice and shared her secret. Just between us, I came here with a 3-year plan. My dad promised to hand over his business to Reese if we stayed in the U.S. Reese, for his part, felt guilty about his mom, so he compromised. It's like a filial duty trial period. 3 years of playing the good son in Chicago, and then we're out. Wow, I had no idea. So you only ever planned to be here temporarily. And here I was thinking you were settling down for good, since your parents even bought you a place. I did think about it. If life here was tolerable, I might have stayed. But seeing how his mom and sister act, I want to pack my bags and get on a plane right now. And this condo? It was just an investment my mom made on my uncle's recommendation. So, Sloane was enduring her mother-in-law's abuse by counting down the days until her escape. After learning her secret, whenever my mother-in-law would unleash her venom, I'd see Sloane staring off into the distance with a vacant look, and I found it oddly cathartic and funny. I even found myself secretly rooting for her. Just a little longer, you can do it. But with only 6 months left, their perfect escape to America plan fell apart in the most absurd way. Something completely unimaginable happened. It all started one ordinary evening with the ring of my husband's cell phone. We need to go over to Reese's place. You and me. What's going on? That idiot got caught doing something stupid. Sloane is losing it. Stupid? What did he do? A woman. What else? It turned out that Reese had been caught having an affair with his office wife. When we got to Sloane's, the place looked like a war zone. The television and other expensive electronics were smashed to pieces. In the middle of it all sat Sloane, looking completely drained. "Sloane, are you okay?" "Reese, what the hell happened?" She just suddenly lost it. I heard everything. You screwed up, didn't you? How could you do this to Sloane? How could you betray the woman who followed you all the way here, trusting only you? No, that's not it. It's all a misunderstanding." "A betrayal? Who betrayed who? Did you see it, Alara?" Reese shot back, turning on me. "What? So Sloane trashed the apartment without any proof?" "Hey, Reese! Step outside!" Kaylin interjected. "No! She doesn't even know the whole story." I said, "Get out here." Reese was shamelessly playing the victim, but my husband had clearly said it was a woman problem. What was even more infuriating was that this wasn't some minor misunderstanding. There was concrete, undeniable proof, sent directly to Sloane by Reese's office wife herself, photos and text messages. When Sloane showed me the woman's messages with a hollow expression, I was at a loss for words. It turned out Reese and this woman had been casual partners since before he was married. Even after they both married other people and started families, they continued their sordid relationship. The longest they'd been apart was when Reese was assigned to the U.S. office. Even then, the woman had taken vacation time to fly to the States and meet him. The problem started when she got divorced. She began demanding that Reese do the same, and when he didn't, she dropped the bomb on Sloane. In the end, Reese got on his knees and begged Sloane for forgiveness, but she refused. And in the midst of it all, true to the saying blood is thicker than water, my mother-in-law, knowing full well her son was at fault, took his side. A man who works outside the home might look at another woman once in a while. Is that really a reason to destroy your husband's future? This is why I never liked you. All those West Coast liberal ideas. You don't know how to respect your husband. This is why I was against it from the start. Until then, Sloane had been listening in silence. Suddenly, she looked my mother-in-law straight in the eye. "What? What's with that look? How dare you glare at me with those defiant eyes? Are you proud?" Sloane's voice was cold. "What? Are you proud to have a son who can't keep it in his pants? Who was sleeping around before his marriage and continued after? Why don't you go tell all your friends in the neighborhood how great your son is?" What did you just say? Is this normal to you? Maybe in your world it is, but not in mine. Even if you have thoughts about someone else, a decent human being thinks of their spouse and family and gets their act together. That man was with that woman on the very day our son was born. Do you think your son is even human? How dare you? My mother-in-law couldn't contain her rage and swung her hand, but it never came close to Sloane. Sloane caught her arm midair, her grip like iron. She overpowered her mother-in-law, holding her completely still. "That's enough. I've divorced your parasite of a son, which means you and I are nothing to each other now," Sloane warned, her eyes blazing. It was an unspoken message. "Don't you dare cross this line again. If you do, I won't hold back." And I thought that would be the end of it. But then my mother-in-law developed a strange delusion that she was the victim. She convinced herself that what happened wasn't a big deal, and because of her uncontrollable daughter-in-law, her younger son was forced to resign and became a social pariah. A terrible tragedy. But the object of her fury had flown across the ocean to California, so she must have been incredibly frustrated. Her easiest target was her other daughter-in-law, me. That damn girl. Who does she think she is, ruining my Reese? This is what happens when you let trash into the family. What could she have possibly learned from those people who abandoned their country? My mother-in-law would rant, coming over to my house to vent to an unwilling audience. Even a beautiful song gets old if you hear it too many times. So who would want to listen to her spew venom about Sloane and her family? I finally had enough and said something. "Mom, I'm not comfortable with this kind of talk. What did Sloane do wrong?" "Reese is the one who cheated. What woman would stay with a man who deceived her with someone he'd been seeing since before they were even married? Let's be honest, if Jocelyn married someone like Reese, would you still be saying these things?" My mother-in-law glared at me as if she wanted to eat me alive, but she couldn't say a word. Her own daughter was precious, of course. After the divorce, Reese started showing up at our house more often. It seemed he felt his older brother and I were the only ones he could rely on. He'd call for the most trivial things, claiming he couldn't do anything by himself. I put up with it as much as I could, drawing a line when necessary, and trying to maintain a healthy distance. Then one day, my sister-in-law Jocelyn, who I barely spoke to, came to see me. "Alara, can I ask you for a favor?" "What is it?" "You know that Chanel bag you have? I have a friend's wedding this weekend. Can I borrow it just for the day?" "No." "What? You didn't even think about it. That's so rude. Just shutting me down like that." "There's nothing to think about, Jocelyn. There are things you can lend and things you can't. It's too expensive to just lend out, and it would be hard for me to hold you responsible if something happened. I'll be careful. If anything happens, I swear I'll take responsibility." That's easy to say. But if something really did happen, how could I ask you to replace it? Besides, they don't even make that bag anymore, so I couldn't just ask you to buy a new one. I can lend you something else. The Gucci. You can borrow that. I don't want the Gucci everyone and their mother has. It has to be the Chanel. When I flatly refused her unreasonable request, Jocelyn pouted. The truth is, Jocelyn had a history of making inappropriate requests, usually hiding behind her mother. It was usually about borrowing things or money. I turned a blind eye to the fact that a woman her age was still getting an allowance from her parents, but she usually targeted my belongings. When I was a newlywed, I saw how she coveted my things, so I even bought her new items a few times, hoping we could get along as family. Normally, you'd expect a polite refusal, or at least a thank you. But with Jocelyn, there was nothing. Like a 7-year-old who covets other people's toys, she would hide behind her mother and take my things. Eventually, I realized she wasn't someone worth spending money on and drew a firm line. "Jocelyn, what are you doing in the master bedroom?" "Oh, just looking at your vanity. Come on out when you're done. And in the future, I'd appreciate it if you didn't come into my bedroom without permission." "You don't do this at other people's houses, do you?" "It's rude." "Oh, come on, we're family." "That's for me to say, not you." "And why are you holding that? Did you use my perfume?" "I was just curious about the scent, so I sprayed it once. From now on, don't touch my things without asking." Even after being called out so directly, she didn't back down. She just went back to hiding behind her mother, coveting my perfume. "Mom, doesn't this smell amazing?" It's nice. Is that Alara's?" "Yeah, it costs like $300 a bottle. I guess that's why it smells so good. I want one like this." "Hey, Alara. Jocelyn wants that perfume you have. Give it to her." "Why?" "What?" "She said she wants it, so give it to her." "And why should I? Just because Jocelyn wants something, I'm supposed to give it to her?" "Mom, we teach kindergartners not to covet other people's things. What mother tells her 3, 2-year-old daughter to just ask for something she wants?" "What? You're family. You can share things. If she wants it, she can buy it with her own money." "Jocelyn, I barely use that perfume myself because it's so expensive. And I didn't even buy it. A friend gave it to me for my birthday. Speaking of which, my birthday was last week, and I didn't get so much as a happy birthday text from you, but here you are, suddenly showing up to claim my gift." After that, she seemed embarrassed and avoided my gaze for a while. But I guess she was desperate this time. You might think, she's asking to borrow it, can't you just lend it to her? But anyone who knows Jocelyn wouldn't say that so easily. Her room at her mother's place was an absolute pigsty. You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat their belongings. She'd carry around lipsticks without their caps, and her clothes always had some kind of stain on them. How could I entrust such a precious bag to someone like that? It was a gift my father gave my mother when they were young, which she cherished and kept pristine before passing it down to me. It was a vintage piece, no longer available, and practically priceless. But somehow, like a little rat, she had snooped through my closet and picked out that specific bag. Even though I flatly refused, Jocelyn didn't give up. She used her mother as her mouthpiece. "Hey, Alara. Lend Jocelyn that bag she was talking about." I already told her no, and I can't believe she ran to you about it. It's not a good look for a grown woman to tattle to her mom every time she doesn't get her way. What's the big deal about a bag? How can you be so cold to your own family? You said it yourself, Mom. If it's just a bag, Then you buy her one. Wouldn't that be better than you two ganging up on me over it? What? It's not like it's cheap. Exactly. So why is she so shamelessly coveting someone else's expensive bag? Ugh. Fine. You win. You're so high and mighty. You must love living in your perfect little world. But just think about it. Jocelyn is getting older. She's not married yet, and she's going to her friend's wedding. She just wants to borrow a bag to feel a little more confident and not feel looked down on. Is that too much to ask? Why make such a big deal and cause a family fight? Exactly, Mom. So you go buy your precious daughter a bag so she can feel confident. My bag is a vintage model, so you can't get the exact one, but a similar one would probably run you about $20,000. $20,000? The price, so shocking she could barely say it, seemed to shut them down. Or so I naively thought. I never dreamed she would actually sneak into my house like a thief and steal it. It was the day before the wedding Jocelyn mentioned. The moment I noticed the bag was gone, I called her and my mother-in-law repeatedly. They both ignored my calls, clearly on purpose. I must have called Jocelyn at least 20 times. Finally, a single text message arrived. Alara, I'm just borrowing it for one day. I was furious that she had so little respect for my property, thinking she could just take it because she couldn't afford it herself. I wasn't going to let it go. I decided to go and get my bag back. That day, I went through Jocelyn's social media and found her friend who was getting married the next day. The following day, I went to the wedding venue I'd looked up. I walked past the bustling crowd of guests in the lobby and went straight to the bridal suite. There was Jocelyn, standing next to the bride, posing for pictures with my bag slung over her shoulder as if it were her own. When I appeared through the crowd, her face went pale, as if she'd seen a ghost. Alara? What? What are you doing here? I came for my bag, Jocelyn. No matter how much you needed a bag, taking it without the owner's permission is not okay. Instantly, all eyes were on us. Jocelyn's face turned beet red. She started trying to push me out of the room, though I didn't budge. What are you doing? Let's talk outside. Give me my bag first. Just then, one of Jocelyn's friends standing nearby chimed in. Wait, Jocelyn, didn't you say your mom gave you that bag? Was that a lie? No, that's not it. Alara's just mistaken. She thinks it's her bag. Right, Alara? Jocelyn looked at me, her eyes pleading. But I had no intention of forgiving her. With a cold, impassive expression, I pulled the bag off her shoulder. No, this is my bag. I brought a tote for you. You can put your things in here. On the verge of tears, Jocelyn glared at me with a look of pure resentment. With everyone staring, she finally transferred her belongings into the tote bag I provided. I turned and walked out without a backward glance. Not even a few hours later, I heard a furious pounding on my front door, followed by my mother-in-law's bellowing and Jocelyn's wailing. What's going on? Mom? Jocelyn, why are you crying? Are you insane? How can you be so heartless? How could you go all the way there and demand the bag back? What did I do? If I were heartless, I would have sent the police for theft instead of going myself. What? Oh my God. My mother-in-law gasped, clutching her chest. Mom, are you okay? What is wrong with her? Jocelyn shrieked. Kaylin, you need to leave her. I can't live another day looking at that face. She took a bag, just one bag, and she went to her friend's wedding and snatched it back. The humiliation. How is she supposed to face anyone now? Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed I could die. I can never see them again, my brother wailed. My mother-in-law clutched her head as if she were about to collapse, and Jocelyn sank to the floor, sobbing loud enough to shake the entire entryway. They were both waiting for my husband, their hero, to take their side. But his reaction was not what they expected. What? Jocelyn, did you really take Alara's bag? Don't tell me. Yesterday, when you brought over those leftovers and I stepped out for a minute, is that when you took it? I can't believe this. What are you, a thief? This is literally theft. Kaylin, whose side are you on? Are you my son? Are you Jocelyn's brother? Mom, you need to get a grip too. Alara is being patient because we're family. This is something she could press charges for. Do you want me to divorce her? Should I divorce her and let her sue Jocelyn? Do you have any idea how much that bag is worth? We're lucky Alara noticed and got it back. What would you have done if it got scratched? Why would you steal a bag you can't even afford? Kaylin, are you trying to make me a divorcee just like Reese? I can live without my mom, but I can't live without Alara. The rest of my life is with her. Do you really think I'm going to take your side right now? My mother-in-law and Jocelyn looked completely dumbfounded, like deer caught in the headlights. They had pinned all their hopes on my husband to resolve the situation in their favor. In the end, they were practically chased out of the house. A few minutes later, a hate-filled text arrived from Jocelyn. You think you've won? Just you wait. I'll make your life a living hell. I just scoffed. Whatever. Considering her lack of resources and intelligence, I couldn't imagine how she could possibly make me cry tears of blood. I didn't know it then, but my unhinged sister-in-law was about to show me exactly what she was capable of. Though my husband should have taken my side regardless, there was a specific reason for his support. My father and his siblings had recently come into a large sum of money from some land they inherited that the state purchased for a new road. My father used his share to buy a small commercial building, and he had decided to put it in my name. My husband was incredibly grateful, and I had even promised to buy him a new car with the rental income. Whatever his motives, having him on my side in that moment felt reassuring. With my husband as my staunchest ally, what did I have to worry about, regardless of Jocelyn's empty threats? But after that day, my husband's outings became more frequent. On weekdays, he had more late nights and work dinners. On weekends, he claimed he had to work overtime or went out early on Sunday mornings for a company soccer league. At the time, I was busy with my own work, so I just figured he was busy too and let it go. Then one day, he brought something up out of the blue. That building your dad mentioned? I checked it out, the location is amazing. There's a lot of foot traffic. The cafe and convenience store there seem to be doing really well. You went there? My dad is very meticulous about these things. He wouldn't buy it without doing his research. Honey, about managing the building, what do you think about asking my mom to do it? Your mom? She hates her job at the diner, and it always bothers me that she's worried about money. We could ask her to handle the cleaning and general upkeep. What if we just paid her a stipend for it? I don't know. You know, my relationship with your mom isn't great. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm worried it will just cause more problems between us. Don't worry about that. She'll be getting a nice allowance thanks to you. You think she's going to cause trouble? I'll be the middleman and make sure nothing goes wrong. Please? No matter how my husband tried to persuade me, I wasn't keen on the idea. I felt the cons would far outweigh the pros, given my mother-in-law's personality. So, I put the decision on hold, but I don't know what my husband told her. Because from that day on, my mother-in-law's attitude completely changed. She started calling me over, saying she'd made my favorite dishes, something she'd never done before. Even Jocelyn, who used to just glare at me, started trying to get on my good side. I could have just let it go, but something about it didn't sit right. Their motives were so transparently self-serving, it was disgusting. Then one day, my husband left a trail, a clue I never would have known existed. While getting his suit ready for the dry cleaners, I found a receipt in his pocket. It was from a Mariano's near Sloane's old apartment. It was on the complete opposite side of the city from our house. And my husband had no reason to be in that neighborhood. I thought it was strange, and was about to ask him about it when something else happened. While he was in the shower, a call came through from Reese. We hadn't seen or spoken to him since he cheated on Sloane and they divorced. I ignored it at first, but he kept calling, so I finally answered. His voice was agitated as he blurted out a strange warning. Bro, I told you not to leave a trace. What if Sloane's mom finds out? It's going to be a huge headache for me. Reese? It's Alara. Kaylin's in the shower. Is it urgent? Oh, Alara. No. I'll call back later. That clipped phone call was the beginning. Don't leave a trace. Sloane's mom. I had no idea what it meant, Reese called. Is there something you're hiding from Sloane? What? Sloane? What are you talking about? Reese was freaking out, saying something about her finding out would be a problem. Oh, that. There's an unresolved child support issue with Sloane, and I was helping him with it. Don't worry about it. What do you mean? He said something about not leaving a trace. It didn't sound like child support. It's complicated. It's nothing, really. I'll tell you when it's all sorted out. The way my husband brushed it off made me suspicious. Calling Sloane out of the blue to ask what was going on didn't feel right, so I hesitated. But feeling that something was definitely wrong, I checked his phone. I found nothing unusual. He seemed to regularly delete his chats and messages. Then, I found a strange record on his running app Strava. The app tracks your running route, and it showed a path along the Riverwalk near Sloane's condo. What's more, the timestamps were from the very times he'd told me he was working late or had overtime. It made no sense. First, my husband doesn't like to run. Second, if he were to start running, he could do it in our own neighborhood. There was no reason to go all the way to River North. And crucially, he had lied to me and was in that neighborhood during that time. Were you busy last night? Even for a late night, 11 p.m. seems really late. Oh, work finished around 9, but I grabbed a drink with some colleagues afterward. Did I not mention it? So you were near your office? Yeah, where else would I be? Sorry. Once things calm down, let's go for a drive out of the city. He lied so smoothly. After observing him for a few more days, I decided to follow him. That was the night my husband, who claimed to be at a work dinner, walked straight into Sloane's apartment as I watched with my own 2 eyes. I learned then that when a person experiences a profound shock, their first instinct is denial. My mind knew that the only people who would be doing that in that room were my husband or my brother-in-law, but my heart wanted to deny it. As I took a step back, desperately trying to reject the all-too-familiar sight of that man's back, I heard my husband's voice from inside the room. "Ah, this is so good. I just want to stay with you forever," a woman's voice replied. "Then why do you keep putting off proposing? You know I'm waiting." "It's because I'm not ready yet." "Just wait. I'm planning something amazing. I told you I'm fine just living together like this. This place already feels like our home. Can't I please just sleep over tonight?" "Sorry, you know the deal. After you leave, I have to clean up to make sure everything's perfect for the next time. Once this one last thing is wrapped up, I can finally meet your parents. I don't know if they'll like me, though. My mom's not that old-fashioned. Divorce isn't a big deal these days. Besides, it wasn't even your fault, right? You said your ex-wife cheated on you." "Yeah. You never really know what's in a person's heart. I thought I was doing my best. You're not going to betray me too, are you? How could you even say that? And it's not like we're some ordinary couple. Honestly, when Jocelyn first told me she was setting me up with her divorced brother, I was a little put off. But then I saw you running and I was completely smitten. Now I can't imagine my life without you. I love you so much, Kaylin." After that, their conversation ended, and they resumed their activities. I was so stunned I just stood there, frozen, before I turned and left without even breathing. So, they had met through Jocelyn. From the conversation, it was clear the woman had no idea my husband was still married. It seemed Jocelyn had introduced her friend not to her divorced brother, Reese, but to her married brother, Kaylin, passing him off as a divorcee. And Sloane's apartment had been transformed into their love nest, with Kaylin pretending it was his post-divorce bachelor pad. Overwhelmed by the massive betrayal, I was slumping on the staircase when Sloane called me back. The moment I answered, I burst into tears. Sloane listened silently as I told her everything, then said one thing. "Alara, just hang on. I'm flying in. You're coming to Chicago?" I had to, anyway. I need to clear out the apartment so I can rent it out or something. I'll help you. Just wait for me. And in the meantime, gather as much evidence as you can. As someone who's been through it, I can tell you that a lawsuit is all about the evidence. Do as I say. What followed was a test of patience. I took a few days off work and went to Sloane's apartment. Following her instructions, I installed tiny, discreet hidden cameras throughout the place. They would provide the decisive proof of my husband's infidelity. On top of that, during a visit to my mother-in-law's house, I got lucky and managed to record a conversation between my husband and Reese. "You cleaned everything up, right?" "Of course. It's so spotless." Alara even asked if I have OCD. She says every time she comes home, nothing is ever out of place. You think I got divorced because I have OCD and a cleaning fetish? So, how's the new girl? A different flavor from your wife, huh? Once you get a taste of that, you can't stop. Is that why you got divorced, you idiot? The whole point of me letting you use the place was so you wouldn't get divorced. I never thought you'd do something like this, Kaylin. I guess you're just a man like any other. It's not like I planned it. Jocelyn just set it up. And once you see that woman's body, what man could resist? True that. Anyway, Sloane's mom isn't planning on coming back anytime soon, so use it as you please. Just make sure to clean up each time, just in case. In return, you gotta buy me that new PS5. The PS5? That's expensive. What's the big deal? Thanks to me, you're saving on hotel bills and having a great time, right? The two brothers were having the time of their lives. When I first discovered my husband's affair, I felt like my blood was boiling. But as time went on, I grew colder, more detached. I even found I had the capacity to play games with him. Honey, about that commercial building my dad gifted me. I was thinking we could put it in both our names. Really? You'd put it in my name too? Are you sure? Why not? We're a married couple. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. We're going to be together forever, right? Yeah, but it feels like I'm getting something for nothing. Thank you, Alara. I'll be an even better husband to you. The higher you climb, the harder you fall, and the more you have to lose, the more painful it is. I gave my husband all the rope he needed. Whether it was late nights, weekend excuses, I just smiled and waved him off. In the meantime, Sloane had arrived back in Chicago, and together, we waited for D-Day. I'm going to Miami for the weekend with some friends. Okay, honey. It's been a while since you've had a trip. Have fun. Should I make you some food for when you get back? No, it's fine. I can just order in. I'll probably be home late from work anyway, so don't worry about me. Have a great time. So, you'll be back Sunday night? Yeah, I'm taking the last flight back, so don't wait up. I planned to strike when he least expected it. Sloane stayed in a hotel, collecting and organizing the footage from the hidden cameras. Dealing with my husband seemed straightforward, but one thing still bothered me: Jocelyn. All signs pointed to her as the architect of this whole mess. She was the one who promised to make me cry tears of blood, and she had used her own friend to do it. My husband was one thing, but I wanted revenge on Jocelyn just as badly. I was leaving the house with my suitcase when I realized I'd forgotten something and turned back. Just then, as if on cue, I saw Jocelyn entering my apartment building. My Chanel bag immediately flashed in my mind. For a moment, I thought about rushing in to protect it, but then I stopped. I just let it be. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, Jocelyn emerged from the building and walked towards a taxi, my Chanel bag tucked under her arm. Knowing I would be out of town, she had taken advantage of my husband's newly resentful attitude towards me. Since I hadn't given his mother the building management job, he likely just turned a blind eye and let her in to take the bag as some twisted payback. After confirming my husband had left the house, I changed the security code on my door. That evening, Sloane and I went to her apartment. Just like that first night, music was pouring out from inside. Knowing what the music was meant to hide, I felt a wave of nausea. From the bedroom, we could hear the same sticky sounds. I filmed the entire scene on my phone. When the bedroom door finally opened, they were oblivious, completely absorbed in their activities. As I zoomed in on their faces with cold, emotionless eyes, I felt the last vestiges of any feeling I had for him die. The woman was the first to notice. She let out a piercing scream. What the? Who are you? You two seem very busy in someone else's house. Enjoying your weekend overtime, Kaylin? Sloane stepped forward. Or, should I say, bro-in-law? Sloane? You, how? And, Alara, you're supposed to be in Miami. The reasons seem to be right here. So, were you going to keep up the act? The woman stammered. Wait, Kaylin, what's going on? Who is she? Your ex-wife who cheated on you? You poor thing, I said, turning to her. You got played by your friend. This man is married. The one who got divorced for cheating was his brother. And this, I said, gesturing to Sloane, is his brother's ex-wife. What are you talking about? He's married? Not divorced? So Jocelyn and he lied to me? Sloane handed the woman a piece of paper. Here's my lawyer's number. If you want to sue this pig and your friend Jocelyn, he'll be happy to help you. Alara, please, let me explain. Don't touch me. And don't even think about coming home. This isn't just going to end with a divorce. You didn't know this whole place was wired with hidden cameras, did you? You do know this is breaking and entering, right? Just wait, Kaylin. I'm ready to file my own lawsuit. Sloan, what are you talking about? Reese gave me the code. I had permission to be here. How is that breaking and entering? And what right does your divorced brother have to give you permission to be in my house? We can let the courts decide whether that permission is valid. I left and headed straight home. But I wasn't alone. I had called the police. Sure enough, there was Jocelyn in front of my door, fidgeting and trying to get in. My husband must have panicked and ordered her to return it immediately after getting caught at Sloane's apartment. She had rushed back, but the code had already been changed. The Chanel bag was on the floor beside her as she frantically tried to open the door. Looks like you're in a hurry to get inside, Jocelyn. Ilara. Officer, that's my bag. The one I reported stolen. An officer stepped forward. Ma'am, a report has been filed stating that this bag was stolen by you. Is that correct? No, I was just borrowing it. I was going to return it after just one day. I never said you could borrow it. Does taking someone's property without permission and then claiming you were borrowing it make it okay? Ilara, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. My friends just looked down on me and I wanted to show them. Wait a minute, I said, picking up the bag. What's this stain? A stain? No, that can't be. I was so careful. Look, you know I kept this bag in pristine condition, without a single stain or crease. But look at this. And this deep scratch. No, I was really careful. It can't be. Jocelyn hyperventilated. Looks like you're going to be busy, Jocelyn. A theft charge. And I'll be filing a civil suit for damages as well. Oh, and by the way, that friend you set up with my husband, who you told was a divorcee? I'm going to help her, too. Ilara, please. Let's have you both come down to the station to sort this out, the officer said. Ilara, I'm sorry. I was just jealous, and I really wanted the bag. I didn't think it would turn into this. Jocelyn suddenly dropped to her knees and began to beg. But the time for apologies was long past. My mother-in-law arrived shortly after, having been called, and she went ballistic. A lawsuit? What are you talking about? She committed a crime, so she'll face the consequences. Maybe you should have done a better job raising your children, Mom. How is it that not a single one of your 3 kids turned out to be a decent person? What? How dare you speak to me like that? Oh, I'm not done. You can forget about getting an allowance from your eldest son. He's about to be buried in divorce proceedings, a massive alimony settlement, and damages from multiple lawsuits. Your younger son won't have much to spare either, since he was an accomplice. He might even lose what little he has. And your daughter here just ruined my $20,000 bag. Add that to the other damages she's on the hook for. Things are going to be tough for you. What is all this? What are you saying? Oh, and you were supposed to manage my building and get an allowance, right? I guess that's not happening anymore since we're getting divorced. What a shame. What? No, what is all this? You can get the details from your sons and daughter. We won't be seeing each other again, so I'll say my goodbyes now. Farewell. Wait, Ilara. I walked away from the chaos, leaving my mother-in-law's desperate calls and Jocelyn's gut-wrenching sobs behind me. With the help of Sloane's uncle, a high-powered attorney, we launched all the lawsuits simultaneously. I filed for divorce from my husband, along with a claim for alimony and damages. I sued Jocelyn for grand theft, the cost of the damaged bag, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Sloane sued both my husband and Reese for trespassing and abetting. On top of that, my husband was sued by the woman he deceived, and so was Jocelyn. The scandal spread like wildfire among Jocelyn's friends, and she was socially ostracized. My mother-in-law became so unhinged she even came to my workplace to cause a scene. I called the police and filed for a restraining order against her. For people who don't understand the law, there's nothing more terrifying than legal consequences. In all those lawsuits, Sloane and I secured a combination of settlements and partial victories. It was a meaningful outcome. The total amount we received in settlements and damages was well into the 6 figures. My husband effectively handed over almost all his share of our divided assets to me. Jocelyn, who refused to pay after the judgment, quickly folded after I had her bank accounts garnished. Sloane flew back and forth between California and Chicago, dealing with the lawsuits in her condo. After settling everything in Chicago, she was finally ready to leave for good. It's all over now, Ilara. Sloane, I feel so bad that you came all this way just to deal with such awful memories. That's just life sometimes. It was the people who were at fault, not the city. And we made them pay for it. Plus, I got a great friend out of it. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, Sloane. I couldn't have done any of this alone. You made it all so much easier. Are you kidding? Thanks to you, I resolved the child custody issues. I used this whole mess as leverage to make him sign over full custody of our son without a fight. That alone is enough for me. You have to come visit me in California sometime. I will. And Sloane, it feels weird to call you that. Goodbye, Sloane. I'll see you in California. Take care, Ilara. At the airport, we shared a warm hug, wishing each other well on our new journeys. The people who promised to make my life a living hell ended up burning in their own. I've wiped them from my memory, and am now focused on living my own life. Not just on revenge. This is my new beginning. You'd root for me, wouldn't you?